Hi, my name is Jason Eagle. I had an unfortunate mental health crisis in June where I ended up getting 1013 and brought to Summit Ridge Hospital as inpatient. At that time, I started in acute and went through, during the time I was there, I progressed through intermediate. So I do have experience with all three levels of, their service there. And then, eventually I got out and it was recommended that I do outpatient. Well, the 1013, I was undiagnosed at the time with bipolar and anxiety. And I knew that there were issues. I knew that I was having more and more problems. And I knew that rubbing dirt on it wasn't going to do anything for it, but I didn't know what to do. And also I felt a little bit of embarrassment about it. So it helped to go kind of be diagnosed. Now I know what the problem is. Now, what do we do to fix it? And so that was the biggest thing with being the inpatient was, okay, now I know what the problem is. So what are we going to do? And that's again, when it was recommended that I go outpatient, which I did not go into with high hopes or a lot of willingness. But after many conversations with my wife and my doctor, I went ahead and made the decision to go ahead and give it a try. Again, as I went in, it was, I'm just doing this because everybody's telling me to do it. I had no real hope or expectation that I was going to get through it, in a way that was going to actually do anything for me. I figured now I'm on medications, so that's what I need. That's going to fix the problem. Probably the first week and a half, it was resistant. I kind of kept my mouth shut. I stayed in my little back corner. Occasionally I crack a joke just because that's one of my coping mechanisms. Instead of facing things, I make little jokes to belittle the situation, to make it more acceptable to me. There was a counselor, Melinda, who kind of forced me out of my comfort zone, and we did a little role-playing thing. It brought into my job of how I was treated and then the way I would handle the same situation if I was in that position of power. And as simple as it may have seemed, it seemed to resonate with people in the room as well as myself. And I started to come out of my shell and starting to realize that, again, I'm not just here for myself. I'm here for other people. We all have a part to play in this group setting. At that point in time, I started to allow myself to become more involved, talking to more people, listening to, taking some of the guidance of the counselors and different therapists there to kind of learn more coping skills, to understand that when these situations come up, to rely on different methods, meditation, taking breaths, the little things, that you start to learn and finding what works for you, because not everything is going to work for every particular person. We're not carbon copies of each other. And the biggest thing I kind of realized was that, again, they gave me medications and that helps. It keeps me from getting too high or too low in certain situations. But if I don't have the skills that I need in order to deal with those situations, it's doomed to repeat itself. And that's why for me, the program works, is that I now have skills that I didn't have or didn't have faith to have in myself, that I can now take into the world and I can take into situations. And I've used it's actually come in handy right off the bat. You deal with a lot of stuff, a lot of very different personalities, a lot of different problems. I know that I was a very strong and annoying personality at some points and sometimes, and I thank you for your patience. I thank you for everything you do, and I feel blessed to have come across your path.